Was December a sign of life in Toronto's real estate market? Find out more in the last market update of 2023. The core of Toronto had 643 sales in December. That's down 27% from November and up 20% compared to December of 2022. A drop in sales of 27% is not only normal, but it's actually a smaller drop off than what we typically see happen from November to December. It's not uncommon to have sales decline by 40% or more. And given that November's 2023 sales lagged behind November 2022 sales, it was good to see a reversal of that trend and have sales come in at higher amounts than December 2022, which was an incredibly slow time for the Toronto real estate market. Based on what happened in December, I was worried that the winter market was going to be very sluggish. And while December is only 1 month, and it may not be the start of a trend, December's activity was a positive sign. New listings dropped like a rock, down to 872, which was a 64% decline from November. This kind of thing is very normal for this time of year, as December just isn't the right time for a lot of homeowners to put their house on the market. Now, last month, I talked about how we needed to see at least a 40% drop in available inventory, otherwise we'd have the highest amount of active listings through December than we've ever seen. Well, active inventory fell by 38% from November. So we did in fact see new peak level of homes on the market. Now this number, 2,617, is not that far ahead of the previous peak of 2,508 in December 2020. And what's interesting is that the early part of 2021 saw a lot of market activity, but I'm going to say that it was likely due to quite low interest rates at that time. And as we know, interest rates are on the high side right now and do seem to be a pretty big obstacle for a lot of buyers from an affordability standpoint. One saving grace is that a lot of those 2,617 properties are condos, so I don't expect the houses or the freehold market to be nearly as sluggish as the condo market. The other thing I'm wondering is how many of the properties that were taken off the market in December come back on in January, or will sellers aim for later in the spring in the attempt to wait until the market conditions change a little more substantially before they relist? There are a few key variables on the table right now that could have a big impact on what happens in January and February. I'm very curious to see how things unfold as 2024 gets rolling. As usual, we saw similar trends in Scarborough, Etobicoke, and North York, with sales declining 24% from November and up about 8% from last year, and new listings falling 63% from November. Active inventory dropped by 34% from November as well. So, like the core, sales, new listings, and inventory all dropped off substantially. But what's interesting is that the total amount of active listings is much higher in the core. So the ratios are actually better in those outside areas. The core has about 4 months of available inventory on the market, but the outer areas only has about 3. Again, I would chalk that up to the condo segment of the market. The density and total number of condos between downtown, Liberty Village, Yonge and Eglinton, and Willowdale outstrips what you'd find in Etobicoke, Scarborough, and North York. So, due to relatively elevated inventory levels, I do believe it's a good time to be a buyer, especially if you're considering buying a condo. If you're selling a condo, it's a bit of a tough market, and I would consider exercising patience right now if you can help it. If you're thinking of selling a house, present it well, price it right. Properties have been selling through this recent sluggish market. I'm Jamie Harnish, Toronto Real Estate Navigator with Bosley Real Estate. I want to thank you so much for your time. Appreciate you watching. If you're catching this on YouTube, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so that you don't miss any upcoming content.